Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. A rather gloomy day here where I am, and it might be a rather gloomy day in Harry's life, even though at the time I'm recording this reading, the King is back in London. He's been seen leaving Scotland. He's been seen back in London. Harry has a window of opportunity. If ever there is going to be a meeting between Harry and King Charles, I suspect now is the moment. Whatever you feel about it, it looks like it might be happening. It's not what I'm reading on now. I'm reading on the fact that Harry's attempts to build bridges with the British public seem to be falling flat. And there's a revolting article in the Express today, which is clearly one of those pay-to-play articles from, I would assume, Meredith Maines or similar. And it tells us that the real reason for Harry's trip to the UK isn't to see Pa, I guess, covering all their bases in case there is no meeting. It's not to see Pa. It's to rebuild bridges with the British public. And it goes on to tell us that Harry has realised he went too far with his crusade against the Home Office over his security arrangements. I'm still quoting. And he wants to paper over the cracks of the past. Wow, isn't that big of him? That he's willing to paper over the cracks of the past. And then it tells us that he's back doing, what he loves to do and what he does best, which is that light roiling. And then it says, despite his low popularity in recent polls, he's still being warmly received by the British public. There's been no heckling, no boos, just cheers and applause. And I said, oh, really? When I read that, because I wasn't the only one who saw how few people were there in Nottingham to greet Harry yesterday. I think there were about 50 people. Most of them looked like they were press photographers. There were no cheering crowds. And they had those crowd control barriers all up and down the street. No crowd to control. It must have been quite obvious, even to old Dumbo himself, that nobody had bothered to show up to cheer the return of the world's most popular prince. Going to do a Celtic cross. I have the new Palladini tarot on the tarot table, just to check in today to see how he's feeling. Obviously he has realised that if he wants back in, he's not only got to get Pa on sides, but he's also got to get the British public on sides. So we're being told that this is his goal, and he's going to paper over those cracks, so generously paper over them. And is it beginning to dawn how much he is loathed and how much work he actually has to do if he has any hope? I would say it could start by crawling on broken glass from Montecito to Windsor Castle over a number of years, and including over the Atlantic. I don't know how he'd get that right, but he could swim. Might start, cards gone flying. There's justice. That's what people want. That is what people want. And now I have to go crawling under the tarot table. And the card that went flying is the Five of Rods. Too much fighting, too much infighting, too much aggressive competition with your closest family members. Very ugly. Nobody wants to see that. They really don't. Let's remind you as I shuffle one more time. That nearly went flying to the Wheel of Fortune. You can't see it, I realise. Okay, there. We'll shuffle that back in. I need to remind you it's tarot, and it is for fun and entertainment, and it is all my opinion and all speculation. And of course, I just read energy and disclaimer in the box below, and a Celtic cross coming up from Harry's perspective. Where he is with the British public, where he thought he would be, and where he's going to be ultimately. Just to see if he has any hope of achieving this impossible dream. He seems to be dreaming this bridge building exercise that apparently has occurred to him he needs to do. And let's see what we can see. As ever, the squishing cards. The Eight of Pentacles working rolling up his sleeves and doing some work. This light roiling that he's doing is the work that is on the tarot table with that card. And of course, it's working royal energy as well when it's upright, the Eight of Pentacles. This is what he wants to be back doing. And we're told, I left out all the nasty paragraphs about how he's back doing what he does best, as a working royal. And back in his element, it tells us, and things like that, all revolting. But there it is. That's what he wants. He wants back in. We all know that by now. So it's not a surprise to see that card. It's simply confirming what we all know. So situation that Harry's in right now in this attempt to build bridges. We've got the Knight of Swords, and it's in reverse. Knight of Swords is very strategic, very sharp-witted, very quick to action. Knows what he's about, knows what he's doing, has got a plan that he's executing. It's in reverse. The plan is going awry. And might have thought he was doing a clever thing by doing this toy that's royal and everything but name, according to this article in the Express. I don't know why they went to the Express with this particular piece of bilge. But the plan isn't going very well. A stupid plan, you could say, with the Knight of Swords in reverse. And he's coming across as pathetic. The little jewel with the plastic sword, which Megan saw fit to put up on her Instagram account. It's pitiful. That Knight of Swords is pitiful in reverse, in my opinion. What's his particular challenge? And his particular challenge is the Page of Pentacles, and how to get back in a solid way. Page of Pentacles is very solid. It would be the donations, the look, I'm a solid force here. I'm a good option if you want me to front BBC Children in Need, for instance, the TV thing that they do every year. I think it's in November. I could be mistaken about that. But he wants solid gigs. That's the challenge, how to get in somewhere solid. It's also a Page of Pentacles as the student of the tarot is learning some lessons. He needs to actually show that he has learned some lessons. There's just a little hint of humility in that card. It's in reverse, hasn't learned it. And doesn't realize that if he's going to try to get back in, he's going to have to get back in at the lowest level. He can't swoop in and reclaim all his old patronages and his old glories and military positions and all of that stuff. That's not going to work. He's actually going to have to grovel, and he's actually going to have to work his way back up. That's not in his nature. It's not the kind of thing that he would ever expect to have to do, or I don't think ever agree to do. But that is the challenge for him. Root of his problems. Let's just ask Tarot. I'm sure we all know what the root of his problems is, but let's ask Tarot. Oh, we've got the Magician in reverse, failing to manifest all those things that he thought he was going to manifest over in California, or she thought she was going to manifest with her vision board. Has failed signally to build the new life in California, to manifest it, to manipulate, to control, image control in that Magician in reverse. It's the trickster card, it's the press, it's all the things that are being used for image control and to try and tell the British public that this is the hero that they've all been waiting for. It's not a message that's going to land, not today, not with what's going on, particularly today, not with what's going on in Poland right now as I'm doing this reading. Or rather alarming, to put it mildly. Who cares about the Ginger Whinger trying to fight his way back into the good graces of the British public? Why would anyone care now? The spin is ill-timed, it's not going to work, and it's very obvious that it's spin with the Magician in control. No one is fooled. We can all see this, the strings pulling, the puppet as the puppet dances. We can all see those strings now. There's no mystery. It's all been revealed thanks to their clumsy efforts over the years to be papped and whatever else. We know now how the media is manipulated by Harry and Meghan. So what is the goal? this bridge building exercise. What can we be told about this? We've got the Nine of Swords and it's in reverse. This is the card of nightmares and worry and stress, and he wants out of that. He's very worried. He's very anxious. Afraid even is coming through. Sorry, the camera is lurching to the right again. Very, very worried, and he wants to get out of this place of worry, of anxiety. What's going to happen to me? There's no more money, there's no more deals, there's no more Netflix, and she's failed at her lifestyle brand, and everything is a disaster, and Pa is ill, and the British public hate me, and the press, and I've lost all my court cases, and on and on and on it goes, and I need out of this terrible nightmare. I need out of having to wake up and look at polls. So many polls online, polls, printed polls everywhere. If you look at the results of them, he is loathed. Lots of polls. Should he be allowed back? No. Go away. Stay in America. We don't want you. He can't believe it. Nine of Swords in reverse. Cannot believe that he's got himself into this mess. Desperate now. Well, he didn't, of course, get himself into this mess. Everyone else did. But he's desperate to get out of it and get back. Eight of Pentacles. Don't be alarmed. That's underlying energy. That's not outcome energy. Doesn't mean he's back as a working royal. Even if Pa meets with him right now, as I'm doing this reading. His expectations when he set off so optimistically, when he was wound up and set off by herself. The Tower, and it's in reverse. Rebuilding bridges that he blew up. There's the Tower, that's the blown up bridge, the shock. Can't believe how badly it all went. Wants to rebuild that bridge. Realizes at some level, and I always say at some level, because I don't think he's capable of comprehending the full enormity of what has happened, what he has done, and what has happened to his reputation. But with the Tower in reverse, a desperate attempt to paper over the cracks. Isn't that interesting? That's the expectation coming into the UK. How's he feeling round about now and then, tomorrow? He is allegedly flying back tomorrow. There's no talk of going to the funeral next week. That's quiet on that front. I guess he's got the message he's not welcome. Feelings. How's he feeling? Page of Cups in reverse. Failed to win back the hearts and minds with the Page of Cups. In reverse, feeling the cold indifference of the British public, rejection there with the Page of Cups. Upright, it's, we love you, and we'll always be loyal to you, we'll always embrace you, we'll forgive you. In reverse, not interested. We're done with you. You hurt us. Page of Cups in reverse is a breakup energy. We don't love you anymore. We don't trust you anymore. Cups are trust and loyalty and empathy and compassion and all those beautiful things. It's in reverse. No one cares. That's the worst thing that can happen to Harry and Meghan, is the cold wind of indifference that's blowing their way, that will destroy them, and I personally believe will ultimately destroy their marriage as well. And there it is, British public, not interested in you, mate. His perception of the level of loathing or indifference down here, I've repurposed a little bit. I got the High Priestess in reverse. What that tells me, it's interesting, I've got the Magician in reverse and the High Priestess in reverse. What that tells me is that the level of brainwashing or persuasion that has been going on, in my personal opinion, I believe there's been quite a lot of that whispering in the ear. Oh, they love you. It's just the press that's reporting. They're twisted. They're in the pay and the pockets of the palace. William, big bully, all of that. I think that influence is waning. It's a consistent message that's coming through for me in the cards at the moment. That influence is waning. The secret is out. And the secret that is out with the High Priestess in reverse is that they really don't like him. They don't want him. And it's that basic. And she, in my opinion, is no longer able to persuade him or convince him that it's something else. He's lost his allure, he's lost his mystique, he's lost his connection to Mummy Diana, because the High Priestess also represents her for me, and the conduit that she allegedly communicates through, cough, cough, pressure that he's under. We're going to scooch that card out the way, and the pressure that he's under is the Five of Cups in reverse, is to get over this sorrow and this loss and this remorse. He's now remorseful, just slightly, I would say slightly, not like a normal person would be, that as I say, they would be stricken. A mental image of those Japanese business leaders who've run a company into the ground and how they appear in public. They almost do the dreadful deed in public, not quite anymore, but it's that kind of energy that he should be embodying. That level of repentance and remorse and mea culpaing, not because he's not capable of it, in my opinion, but he's under pressure to portray himself almost differently. Instead of being this person who bangs on about his grievances, fixated on those 3 spilled cups, he needs to turn this around. That's the pressure. How does he not paper over the cracks, but present himself again in that happy, carefree guise that he presented himself in before the claw came along and hooked him? Very difficult. He's tried it a bit with the sword play with the little, I think she was a little girl, can't remember, I didn't watch that. I just saw a picture of it and cringed. And the plastic sword. Nobody's buying it. He's a man in his 40s now. He looks to me like he reeks of booze and cigarettes. That's my opinion of him when he falls out of the car and he does his jacket up, buttons his jacket up, because he still has some basic manners, and off he goes to hug people who don't want to be hugged. He looks like he's just had a really rough night. It could be because he's tossing and turning with his 9 of Swords over here. Sleep deprived from anxiety, because I'm sure she's waiting in California and going to berate him when he gets back for failing in his quest. But anyway, it's not someone I would want hugging my child, I just have to say. Let's move on. Hopes and fears for Harry. We got the 3 of Pentacles in reverse, worried that this isn't going to work. And that's also the card that I got when I asked if there was going to be a meeting with Pa. I got the 3 of Pentacles, which looked like a kind of a committee meeting. Even if not Harry and Pa actually meeting, people meeting. You know, his people meeting Pa's people, that kind of thing. And then they could put out a press release and paper over the cracks. It's in reverse. He's very worried that even that isn't going to happen. He's very worried that his team isn't going to get him over the bumps on this trip successfully either. That he's just going to look like a sad sack. You know, it's a bit of the door cam thing. This desperate, sad, lonely person ringing doorbells, hoping to find someone. He's worried that he's going to come across as that. Instead of being part of a group, part of organizations. And it's clear that he's been kind of forced into situations where he's not really welcome, but they're too polite to say, go away, we don't want you. That's how it's reading for me energetically, my opinion, allegedly, all that stuff. Outcome for Harry, no time frame on this, just generally, can he convince the British public that he's worth trusting again and caring about again? Is there any hope? No. 9 of Cups in reverse. That wish is not going to be granted to the has-been. He is going to stay a has-been. Dreams come true with that card. Probably his greatest hope at the moment, his biggest dream, his greatest wish. If he goes to bed every night clutching his teddy or whatever he does and, you know, begs Mummy Diana to grant him a wish. No. Not with the 9 of Cups in reverse. And that's very emotional. Might tip him into some quite heavy, what's the word? I can't think of it. Recreational, you know whating. That's the word. When this is all said and done. all over bar the shouting, and I suspect there's going to be a lot of shouting when he gets back to California. We're going to look at that quickly next. That's your reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.